My name is Anna Meetaqarpunga. I do arts, cultural events, graphic designs.
My name is Jakob. I am artistic director and founder of the Arctic Sounds Music Festival.
My name is Maria Kreutzmann. I do illustration and I'm also author or editor of the book Bestiarium Greenlandica, which is a book about Greenlandic mythical creatures.
Jesper Meetaqarpunga. Tekonna qamnum nuna imikkortun siuorsasuun qaqqatkummunaani ulluunarna Arctic Circle business simatorfearpunga destination manager destination Arctic Circle ingerlallugula.
So cultural sensitivity to me is about showcasing a culture and then seeing it respectfully. So if you come here as a tourist, you can see our culture, you can see the pearls that are being made, you have an interest in the tattoos that a lot of people carry, you hear about our history, then you don't try to claim it as your own or try to use it for anything, but you can admire it and you can appreciate it and you can learn from it. And you don't try to ruin the culture that's putting its own culture on display.
If you have a skier coming from another place, you can make them remember that exact trip because of another aspect, which is culture. For example, here in Sisimiut, where they are very much focused on extreme sports tourism, experiences in nature, it's so important that they also have that other aspect of Greenlandic culture. They can go to mountains anywhere. They can go to the Alps. They can go to Norway to look at this exact same kinds of mountains. But you don't get the same culture.
If people want to experience why did people live up here in Greenland, we need to, through our culture, through the sensitive cultural aspects that we still have of our heritage, we need to be able to use that.
People in Greenland are still very much learning about our own culture because a lot of things have been lost. So the things that we put out, it's very, very important and we try and share things, and it's a very difficult subject. We see that as sharing our culture when people have an interest in it and want to learn more about it, because with that we get to not only preserve the culture, but we get to share it. So we try to not sell out of it, but we still want people to know what we're all about. And we also want people to know what the real Greenland is when we're working and developing with these products.
There's more that we could even do with cultural tourism. So maybe inviting tourists to be more part of our community, which is the Greenlandic culture.
If you don't know anything about Greenland at all, it's the curiosity in meeting a new culture where you kind of stand back and take in what is being presented to you. You can learn a lot of a culture that you might not never be part of, and that's okay. And then you can talk about this culture to others and say, let me introduce you to this wonderful culture that you can learn something about, and again, take a step back and just enjoy it for what it is. And then you can enjoy the nature and the aurora and everything else that is part of our culture, but just outside of it.
In my region, we want the advanced tourists, so we actually want tourists who wants to interact with the artist and who wants to try it out themselves, because that's what the community here wants. They don't just want to be an exhibition window. They want people to participate. They want to feel proud that what they do is something that other people can see a value in, and when they have tried it, they feel that they have had a small transformation.
We Greenlanders are very funny people. we have that kind of. We love laughing. If people, okay, don't take this like in a bad way, but if a skier falls, if they don't break the leg, for example, we laugh and laugh and laugh, and the skier who falls also laughs and laughs and laughs, and then you start to talk to each other, and it's like an icebreaker, this laughing or saying something funny. And just that could also be, something that the skier remembers, the foreigner remembers. So it has to be, you always have to think about what more can we give so that they remember this exact trip.
the tourists we have, they are here for longer, and they are usually very used to traveling, and they're used to traveling in a more discreet way. They're not. They are curious about the local culture, but they want to interact with the local culture. But also we bring them into schools and into shops, and so they sort of they fairly quickly they sort of get the vibe and get the, you know, how to, even that the culture here is more quiet. You don't have to talk so much. You just have to like be interested and curious. And I think the tourists we get are pretty good tourists. Like one of our goals is that within 10 years, and that's in 2024, we would like half of the audience for the festival to be people coming from outside. So we want it to be like something that people travel for. So for us, the audience is of course tourists, but also for us, the artists, we consider those tourists as well. They come here for like a 10 days experience as part of the whole collaboration process, and they do a lot of what tourists do here anyway. Like we send them out on dog sleds and snowmobiles, and we put them into nature to find inspiration for their art, and we do collaboration projects that are always based on experiences of Greenland. We don't just put the artist in a room. We try to let them experience Greenland both sonically and visually and culturally, and we sort of see if some of that pops up in the art they create while they're here. We had a Norwegian artist that recorded a full EP while he was here, that was released, and it's called Sisimut, and he said, now you have to invite me back, and that's
When you have the dissemination part of anything, either it being a boat trip or a book or a design or anything, what you do is you're showing what Greenland can be. It's a representation of us on the outside world.
I think Greenland has generally really good culture products because we are who we are. We are the Greenlandic culture. That's what we are, and it's a strong product in itself. Just the town walks. Some town walks are emphasizing culture, Greenlandic culture or Greenlandic art. For example, it could be in the old part of Sisimut, and they would be telling a little bit of the history of Sisimut. But they don't just tell it, they just don't talk, but they make an act out of it. And it's so, when you're in this walk, you just, you remember everything afterwards because it's been so inspiring. And that's also one of the forces of professional arts that we should be using more, and not just think, oh, it's cheaper to use the small organizations, amateur actors or amateur dancers. It's something, it comes to a whole different level when you use professional artists.
So there was some very sensitive areas about our culture there, because it's also a debate among people themselves. Like dog sledding is really culturally sensitive, because how people used it back in the old days, contrary to using it with tourism, and how people are using the dogs today versus tourism. Because today we of course have the dog sled race, which is a big thing for some of the mushers, and then we still have the mushers to do it for fishing and for hunting. And then we have some that get it subsidized by doing tourism in it, and it's always something that's up for debate. How do we look when people are doing that, and what should people be prepared for? I would say the same thing for drum dancing and mask dancing. It's something that it's not a most normal thing today. Not a lot of people know how to do it exactly, but it's something that we definitely identify as our culture.
I think we just have to educate ourselves in our base, in what the Greenlandic culture was and what it is now and what it might become. Or because you have so many representations of the drum dance. I always think that, for example, the East Greenlanders and the North Thule Greenlanders have been doing drum dancing all the time. They haven't lost it. We lost it here on the West Coast 200 years ago, approximately. So we are on the West Coast. We are trying to find it in our way, and we are not just trying to copy the East Greenlanders or the Thule Greenlanders. And we're now trying to find our own rhythm, our own songs, writing our own lyrics in drum dancing.
When people come here and they get taken on boat trips, they might experience drum dancing or they might experience dog sledding. And I think what people can do is it's important for them to ask themselves the question, what does this particular product mean to Greenlandic culture?
And of course, the tourists we attract are always tourists interested in culture. And the people they meet will be people interested in culture. So that I think to sort of structure your product around a common interest is always a good thing.
I think the best way when you want to do something new, or when you want to do something that's culturally sensitive, you need to first of all be in contact with your DMO and see if you can make a project together about it, because it really is about having your facts correct. It matters a lot that the words that you use to describe things are the way it is.
If you are a Greenlandic entrepreneur or company and you want to develop your business and you have no idea where to turn and you're a complete greenhorn or newbie like I was because I didn't know anything about business, I would start at Greenland Business. Greenland Business is a place that develops companies and help them find funding and how to do economics and everything. Another great place to turn is Nukiga. So Nukiga works with networking companies, Danish companies or outside companies between Greenlandic companies. They try to market Greenlandic products to the rest of the world.